Hello everyone, little update. I've been reading this one today, and so far, hi Pumpkin, what do you think? Pumpkin is helping me. Hello everyone, it's Rhonda here. I have decided that this week, it's Saturday afternoon, early evening right now. So this week I'm going to do a bit of a weekly reading vlog where I'm just going to try and catch up on some books that I've had on the go for a while, or that I've been wanting to start, that I have out from the library that I haven't read yet, or finishing a few books that I hadn't finished yet. So I'll tell you what my TBR for the week is going to be. I have a pretty busy week ahead in that I want to do some reading, and I need to do a bunch of editing on my novel because I'm still hoping to get it out in September. And yeah, it's been kind of a crazy few weeks here. I've been quite stressed, so I'm hoping to spend some time just enjoying myself and reading. So I will tell you what books I'm planning. So the first one that I'm going to try and read this week is Anne of Avonlea by Lucy Maud Montgomery. This is a Canadian classic. It is the sequel to Anne of Green Gables, which I read last year and really enjoyed. So Anne of Avonlea continues following Anne Shirley, who's well, I guess I should kind of, I think most people know the story of Anne of Green Gables, but I'll kind of explain that. So Anne Shirley is a young girl who is an orphan, and it takes place in Prince Edward Island, and it's in the early 1900s. And Anne is an orphan girl who is working at a home looking after children when her life suddenly changes, because in the town of Avonlea, there's a old brother and sister named Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert, and they're looking for an orphan boy to come and help on the farm because Matthew's health is failing a bit. So Matthew goes into the city to pick up this boy that he's supposed to be picking up, and here sitting on the platform at the train station is Anne Shirley instead. Anne is a young girl with bright red hair and loves to talk. And Matthew, being a big softy, he takes her home, even though he was supposed to get a boy to help around the farm. And when she gets there, Marilla is not sure what she thinks, because she was not expecting to have to raise a girl, and so she is gonna send her back at first. But then Anne kind of turns their life upside down. And I really loved the first book. It was so fun. I loved Anne's character and the ideas she came up with and the stories she told, and she had a very, very active imagination. So this is the second book in the series, so this continues following Anne as she's a little bit older now, and she's graduated from teaching school, and she's going to be a teacher in Avonlea. So that's what this one is about. And I'm actually reading this one it was actually my July prompt for the BTS Book Club reading challenge that I'm doing. It was supposed to be a book that begins with A, R, M, or Y, which are the letters of our fandom. And so I chose this one because of the A, and then I just never got around to reading it because I was busy last month. So that's the first one. Then I'm going to also be looking at reading this one. This is The Red Palace by June Hur. This is a young adult novel, and this one is for a book club that I'm part of. So that's what I'm reading this one for. It's for the August book club. And this one takes place in 1758 in the Joseon dynasty in Korea. And it is about a girl, she's 17 years old, her name is Hyun, and she becomes a palace nurse at the king's palace, and she's trying to basically keep her head down, just do her job, when one night 4 girls get murdered, and the person who it looks like is going to get blamed for it is her mentor. So she sets about to try and figure out what actually happened, and according to the cover here, in her hunt for truth, she encounters Ojin, a young police inspector also searching for the killer, and then evidence starts to point to the crown prince himself as the murderer, and so things get very serious. So this is a young adult novel. I haven't read a young adult novel in a while, not since I did the vlog for Mixed Media Mysteries. I had read one during that, so looking forward to reading that one. I'm curious because I enjoy reading about historical settings, and I'm very interested in Korea. Then the next one on my list is to finish this one. So this is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. And I am 82% done this book. I had the audiobook out from Libby, and I got 82% through it, and I just, because of timing, I couldn't finish listening to it, and I had to send it back. So I thought, well, this was about 2-3 weeks ago. I was like, well, I'll just order the book in at the library and finish it that way. Well, it took forever to come in because it's a popular book. So finally it got here. So my goal is to finish that one. I'm actually hoping to finish this one tonight because I just want to read that last 18% because I've been really, really excited about it. So this book is about Emily Wilde. She's a woman who works at Cambridge, and she's a scholar, and she's not very people-oriented, but she's really into her studies. And she studies dryadology, which is the study of fairies. And in this book, it's told as her journal. So she's going to visit a country called Useland, and the town is, Ravenspeak. And she is looking for the fairies that she needs to study in order to complete her Encyclopedia of Fairies. She's there in the winter time. It's a rough and tumble sort of place. And then when she's busy doing her research, suddenly she comes back to the cabin the one day and finds that her nemesis slash co-worker slash friend sort of, Wendell Bumblebee, has arrived, and he's there to help her. And so you get a lot of fun banter between the two of them because they have a really fun relationship, and it's just a really good book. It's a cozy fantasy, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and I can't wait to finish it. So I'm going to try and finish that one today. Then I've had this one out from the library and had to renew it a couple times and still haven't gotten a chance to read it, so I'm going to definitely try and read this one this week. This is The Way of All Flesh by Ambrose Parry. And you might recall that when I did my first library challenge, I believe it was the first one. I'll put the link to it up in the corner. But when I did my first library challenge, I read the second book in this series, which was, I can't remember what the book was called, but I'll put it on the screen. And I read that one for that challenge, and I really enjoyed it because we didn't have this first one at the library, so I just picked up the second one because I thought it looked super interesting. So I wanted to go back and read the whole series, so this is the first book in the series. This takes place in Edinburgh in 1847, and it is about a young student doctor named Will Raven. He's a medical student, and he is apprenticing with the renowned Dr. Simpson, who discovered the use of chloroform for doing surgeries and everything. But what's happening is that young women are being discovered dead around the city, and it looks like the work of a serial killer. And so Raven ends up setting out to figure out what's going on, and he meets Dr. Simpson's housemaid, Sarah Fisher, who is very intelligent but doesn't have privilege, but she's super interested in she's very interested in medical things, and were at a different time, I think she would want to become a doctor, but she's a housemaid, and she ends up also looking into the death. So she and Raven end up joining forces to try and figure out what happened. And I really enjoyed the second book. I think I gave it 4 stars? 4 or 4.5. Anyway, but I really enjoyed the second book, so I want to read the rest of the series, and this is the first book in it. So that one is also on my TBR. And then I want to finish this book here. This is Spectrum Women, Walking to the Beat of Autism. It's written by a bunch of different women and edited by Barb Cook and Dr. Michelle Garnett. And this is the stories of, I believe it's 15 women who are on the autism spectrum, and the way that they have to work through life. It talks about various different areas of your life that are affected when you're on the autistic spectrum, including it talks about growing up as a child on the spectrum, your identity, diversity, gender, personal relationships, socializing, anxiety, personal safety, parenting, independence, employment, sensory world, communication, emotional regulation, executive functioning, a whole bunch of different topics. And I've been finding this really, really interesting and useful. As you can see, I've been tabbing a lot in it, and I want to actually buy this book so I can read it again, as I'm working towards discovering that I very likely am on the autism spectrum, which I have suspected for a while now. So that's why I picked this book up to read. And a lot of things in my life are starting to make some sense after reading what I have of this book so far. So I am actually on page 204, so I'm getting pretty close to the end, and I was hoping to finish this one this week as well. So that means that my TBR for this week, which is quite large, although like I say, a couple of the books I'm already part ways done. So this is my TBR for the week, and I will start reading those tonight, and I will let you know how it goes. I'll be doing some editing as well this week. I got some hoof trimming to do, some little donkeys to go and trim, so that should be fun. And I'm hoping to get quite a bit of reading done. So I will let you know what I think of all these books.
All right. Oh, that was way softer than I thought it would be. 6.5 out of 10.
I'm giving that one like a 4. This was not my favorite crumble cookie, but I've only had it twice. Thank you for being here for our cookie review. Appreciate you a lot. I'm sweating. We're at a place called
I'm trying to read. What are you doing? Huh? This is the book we're reading. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think of this book? Huh? Hi. I'm going to read this one. But I have a bunny friend. Hi. What you doing? everyone. It's a warm day out today. I'm just doing my morning chores, and then I'm going to probably spend most of today just reading. I'm kind of taking today off from doing too much other than what I need to do because it's been a really busy, rough week. So now today being the weekend. But yeah, so I'm just watering horses right now. I'll show you. Hi guys. Hello Penny. Hi. There's Penny the mule. Oh, and there's Miss Stormy. Hi Stormy. How's my girl? And there's Miss Gypsy. Hi Stormy. So anyway, last night I did finish reading Emily Wilde. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I loved it. I only had like 18% left. I ended up giving it 5 stars. The thing I liked the most about it was the characters. Emily and Bamblebee play off each other so well, and I just really, really enjoyed their characters. They were unique. You don't read about characters like that super often, and just so much fun. Like I really, really enjoyed it. The storyline was good. It was cozy enough to be, enjoyable, and yet had enough of a plot to keep me going. And I highly recommend it. I really, really loved that book. So that was a 5-star. And that was the first one that I was trying to finish this week. So now I think I'm going to probably start, I want to read the library ones first. So I'm probably going to start the Ambrose Parry one in the Raven and Fisher series next. Because that one I don't have any renewals on. Whereas the Red Palace one, I do have some renewals. And then I'm also still, over the course of the week, reading that one on Spectrum Women. So I read some more of that last night. I'm actually almost done that one. So that's what the plan is. I'm going to finish my chores here, and then I'm going to go in and have some lunch and take a shower because it's really warm out here. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. So I'll show you guys the ponies again. Hello, my babies. Hi, guys. Stormy and Gypsy and Keely and Penny and I believe that's Ariat. Ariat and Derby and Harley and Pancakes. And this is Mama Dewdrop. This is Penny's mom. And we think Stormy's mom too. Because we rescued her first with Penny. And then later when we rescued Stormy from the same place, they connected right away. And we're, basically attached at the hip. So everyone. Little update. I've been reading this one today. And so far, hi Pumpkin, what do you think? Pumpkin is helping me. So far, I am at page 52. And I'm enjoying it so far. This is the first book in the Raven and Fisher series. And I read the second book back at my very first library challenge because that was the one that they had at the library and I thought it sounded so interesting. So here, I'll stop the swinging so you don't have to hear that noise. I really enjoyed the second one. I think I gave it 4 stars. And it was very good. I really enjoyed it. And so I went back now to read the first one, and then I'm going to read the other 2 in the series. Like for me, because I read the second book first, this almost feels more like a prequel to me. I would recommend reading the series. Hi, Pumpkin. Yes, hello. I would recommend reading the series in order because you'll get to know the characters better. So then you're not trying to figure out kind of who's who and what's what when you start the second book. It is a series that I think should be read in order, but it didn't hurt to read the second book first. I still enjoyed it. So anyways, in this one, you start out by meeting Will Raven, who is the young student doctor, and he comes from a bad side of town in Edinburgh. He has grown up you don't know much of his past to begin with, but you do know that he says his father was a lawyer, but it's a lie, and he is kind of a rough character, but he wants to be a doctor. And so he gets an apprenticeship under this Dr. Simpson, who is working to discover, he's working on discovering anesthetics. So he ends up getting an apprenticeship with Dr. Simpson at the beginning of this book. But it's like his last day, bugs again. It's like his last day before he starts his apprenticeship, and he ends up going to this place where there's this prostitute that he knew and was friends with, and he finds her dead, and he doesn't know what happened. And then he's on his way back. He goes out for drinks to kind of calm himself. He's on his way back, and he gets set up on by these it's this guy that he borrowed money from, and he borrowed money in order to help this prostitute who said that she needed money because she was in trouble, and then now she's dead, and he doesn't know what he owes the money for, or what she owed the money for. But the guy who he borrowed the money from has his goons come after him, and so that's where it starts. And so you kind of know that there's something more going on there. And I remember from the second book that is kind of a carrying through plot, these goons. So that's kind of a through plot line. But you do meet them in the first little couple chapters of this book. And then the other person that you're meeting is Sarah Fisher, she's the housemaid for the Simpsons, but she has a strong desire to learn. And so she's been helping with Dr. Simpson with the patients and everything. But she's also still the housemaid, so she still has to clean and do all of that kind of stuff. And at the point that I'm at, Raven has just arrived and met her for the first time. And the only other thing that's kind of going on, because these I know the second book too kind of started a little on the slow side, and this one's kind of the same. But the other thing that's going on is a housemaid that Sarah knows from a fellow who works for another family in the area has gone missing, and they basically say that she's absconded or whatever. So they think that she's run off, but Sarah seems a little more concerned about it because she had talked to the girl like the couple days before, and she hadn't seemed herself. So that's kind of curious as to what's going on there as well. So I am looking forward to keeping on going. It is fun reading about the characters that I already got to know and like in the second book, now reading about their backstory. So, but like I say, I would recommend reading the first one first, because I think it would be easier to get into the second one if you had the backstory of the characters already down, instead of having to try and pick it up from there. So anyway, that seems like normal advice. Most people don't read the second book first, but I did because that was the one that happened to be at our library. So I'm going to keep reading here while I do my outside chores, and Pumpkin's helping me. Aren't you, Pumpkin? Aren't you, Pumpkin? What you doing? You helping me read? We're sitting on the swing together. And yeah, I'll let you guys know how much further I get. I'm hoping to make a good chunk, to get a good chunk of this one done today, because I'm trying to get quite a few books read this week. So and the rest of my week's going to be quite a bit busier than today. So I'm going to do some of that tonight. I also have some editing to do tonight and some of those sorts of things. So I will see how far I get. Hey everyone, little update. I read actually quite a bit of this one, The Way of All Flesh by Ambrose Parry. I am already, I'm on page 132, so that's going pretty well. I am still hoping to make a little bit more progress on this one tonight. I'll probably read another, at least another chapter or two before I go to sleep. It's about 2 a.m, but I'm a night owl. So I'm really enjoying it so far. The story keeps getting more and more interesting, and I'm starting to really get a feel for the characters, especially as they were in the beginning, as opposed to where they were at the end of the second book. So really enjoying that one. Tonight I finished this one here, which is Spectrum Women Walking to the Beat of Autism, edited by Barb Cook. And I found this one, I gave this one 5 stars. I found this book really, really useful. I tabbed a whole bunch of pages, so I'm going to have to get my own copy now because this is the library copy. But I learned a lot from reading this book. I really appreciated the various women's voices and how they described their journey. And it was very interesting as somebody who is discovering their and beginning to accept their neurodivergency, to hear other women's stories and see yourself reflected in them. So I'm really, really thankful for this book, and I want to read it a second time. I want to get my own copy and read it a second time and highlight it up and mark it up. And so, yeah, I really appreciated that book, gave it 5 stars. So so far I have finished 2 of the books that I was trying to finish this week already, and I am good start on one of the ones that I started this week. So week is going well. Oops. So the week is going well. Today I actually went and I got my tattoo redone. So that was cool. I forgot to record anything on the journey, but yeah, got that redone. So that's kind of fun. And tomorrow I'm going to have a busy day. Gotta go and trim a bunch of donkey hooves, so hopefully it won't be too warm out. So yeah, I gotta do that and hopefully do some more reading in the evening. And then the rest of the week I'm hoping to do a bunch of editing and on my novel, and also keep reading and see how much I can get done. So I will see you guys on tomorrow. It's late at night, or well, not late at night, evening, and we're hauling some bales to the ponies now. I did end up going trimming today. I didn't end up going trimming today because it was just too hot. It was plus 33 today, and I can't work in that condition. But we're just going to haul some hay bales, and then I'm going to do some reading tonight. everyone. Hopefully the noise of the air conditioner and the fan isn't too bad, but it's too hot to not have it on. But I finished this one last night. Really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, and I like this one even better than the second one in the series, which I had read first. I know, it's weird that I did it that way, but I really enjoyed this one. I found that I really liked the characters. In particular, the character of Will Raven. I'm finding I'm liking him more and more just because he's a bit of a morally gray character. Like, you see he has good sides to him, but he also has bad sides to him. And he's very morally gray, but you really get to see his growth throughout this series. And I'm curious to see where they're going to go with his character, because I find him a very interesting character. I find him at some points he is frustrating, some points he's noble, and it's just one of those things where you're really interested in seeing where his character goes. And then the character of Sarah, she was a little less developed, I felt, in this book than in the second book, but I really like the way that they're using her to show a woman who wants to be more than what women were allowed to be in Victorian Edinburgh. You know, she wants to be more than just a housemaid and more than just, you know, somebody's wife. You know, she wants to be more. She wants to be allowed to do the things that men are allowed to do, you know. And it's interesting reading what they say about, you know, in the historical parts of it, what you're learning about. Like, she goes into the druggist's and she's been working for this doctor, you know, and learning all kinds of things because he's been allowing her to read all of his books and everything. And she goes into the drugstore and there's a guy behind the counter who is their apprentice, who basically knows nothing and is, you know, obstinate and irritating, and she knows way more than him. But when she talks to the druggist about, you know, would somebody like her be able to work there, the guy basically tells her, well, no, you can't, because you're a woman and our clients wouldn't trust a woman to do it for them. So here you've got this inept, incompetent guy there, and the only reason he has the job over her, who has far greater understanding of all the medicines that are there, is because he's a man, you know. And this is the frustrating part about that type of a society. And the Ambrose Perry, which is a husband and wife team, they write about it really well. I was very drawn in to the story. This one didn't have quite as many of the medical quackery things going on in it that the second book did. I found that this one was, the plot moved a little bit faster, and there was a little bit more danger involved, especially as it got in on the plot. Whereas the second book in the series, the plot was a bit slower and there was more of the medical stuff in it. This one had a lot of medical stuff in it too, but, you know, I guess, did I tell you guys what this book is even about? Maybe I should tell you that, just in case I hadn't told you enough about it. But the main character is Will Raven. He's a young man who is he gets a job as an apprentice with a famous doctor in Edinburgh. And so he's working there, and he meets the housemaid there. Her name is Sarah Fisher, and she is helping out in the doctor's clinics as well. But Will comes from a very low background, and he managed to put himself through medical school with it's not really welcome help of an uncle, but the uncle is using it to kind of abuse his mother, who is the sister of the uncle. But anyways, so he does go through medical school, but he also gets involved with the wrong side of people. He lived on the wrong side of town, and he gets involved with people who are rather unsavory, and that comes back to haunt him. But the story starts with he finds this prostitute who he was actually friends with, who has died, and she's like contorted up as though, she her body's all contorted, so he thinks that she was poisoned. And then at the same time, there's a housemaid who works for a dentist nearby the doctor's place that Sarah knows, and she goes missing. And then later, this is still quite close to the beginning of the book, later she's found drowned, but her body is in a similar condition. And then they start finding similarities with other things going on across the city. And so because Will wants to find out what happened to this friend of his, and Sarah wants to find out what happened to this other maid that she knew, they kind of end up having to join forces, even though at the beginning they have quite a lot of animosity toward each other. So it's a really good book. I did really enjoy it. 4.5 stars, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series because I find the time period and the location really good. The atmosphere that they create in the setting and everything is really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm on to the next book for this week. I'm going to read The Red Palace next by, I believe it's Jane Her. June Her. The Red Palace by June Her. And this is that young adult one. So I'm going to start reading that today. I'm thinking it'll go fairly fast because the writing is fairly large, and it is a young adult, and I find those ones go quite a bit faster. So I'm going to read that one. Hopefully today, maybe finish it today, maybe finish it tomorrow. I'm back again just briefly. I wanted to show you guys some cool stuff. I got some beautiful bookmarks from my friend, and she makes these with her artwork. Like, isn't that just gorgeous? These are done with her artwork. I'll put her link to her website down in the description box so you guys can check them out. But these are so beautiful. Like, these are her little fairies, and so she sent me quite a few of the fairies. Show you. And then oh wait, I got a couple more of these. I love this one. This is one of my favorite ones, of course, because green is one of my favorite colors. And then here's a yellow one. She's Flittermouse Artwork and Oddities on Facebook and Instagram, and she has a web page that I'll link down below. And oh, this one's so pretty with the oranges, so gorgeous. And then she sent me, which I am just absolutely in love with, some of her fruit dragon ones. So this is the strawberry dragon. Aren't these just like so adorable? These fruit dragon ones are the best. I'm starting to collect bookmarks. It's gonna be one of my little collections. And so she sent me these for my collection. I love this one, the orange dragon. And a banana dragon. And pretty sure this guy is a kiwi dragon. Isn't he cute? So adorable. And we have blueberry dragon. And one of my favorites is the grape dragon. Aren't those so adorable? I just love them so much. So those are going directly into my bookmark collection. I have 2 of her other bookmarks with the little witches on them that I'll show you when I dig them out of my books, because I'm using them right now. But I just love these. They're so cute, and I just want to thank her for those. And I will put a link in the description to her webpage where you can order bookmarks and all kinds of fun art. She's got lots of mini paintings. She also has a really cool deck of cards that she made that has each card is painted with a different little fairy, and it's so cute. And she calls it the 52 Fairies deck, and it looks so cute. But yeah, this is the bookmarks she sent me, and I'm so excited about them and so excited to add them to my collection. Hello, I have been reading this one, The Red Palace by June Her, and I'm actually right around 50% done. I'm on page 160 already. It's a fairly quick read, being that it's a young adult novel, but I'm actually really enjoying this so far. I wasn't sure whether I liked young adult novels as much, but I'm really enjoying this one. I think maybe historical ones are more my style, because I find in a lot of young adult novels, I have a hard time, I kind of have a hard time actually believing that the characters would be able to get into the situations that they get into. But when it's historical, the fact that they're a younger age doesn't really matter, because people grew up a lot faster back then. So I kind of can suspend my disbelief a little easier. So yeah, this book is about a young girl named Hyun. She is 18, and she is a palace nurse, but she's the daughter of a concubine. So her mother was a concubine for this. He's like a head of justice in the city or whatever, and so she is basically the lowest commoner, because he won't acknowledge that he's her father. So she knows him, and he knows that she's his daughter, but he doesn't acknowledge her as being a daughter because she was born from a concubine and not his wife. So she is actually a really complex character, which I'm really enjoying, because she wants to become something in order to prove to her father that she's worth his love and attention. And at the same time, she wants to learn and to be more, and she's quite bold, which is nice. This one takes place in, let's see, it's the Joseon Dynasty, but I looked it up, and that was a huge period of, from like, it was 13 something to like 1910 or something like that. Like, it was a long dynasty. But this one takes place in 1758. This one takes place in 1758. And so anyways, Hyun becomes a nurse. So she's essentially abandoned by her mother as when she's about 12, because her mother doesn't think that she'll be able to be anything. And there's a complex relationship there as well, because she does still now live with her mother and her younger brother. But she ends up being helped by this nurse in training. And so the nurse takes her in and makes her a student at this training area for nurses, and really helps her through everything and helps her grow up. And so this lady becomes basically her mentor. And then Hyun ends up getting the coveted position, because she passes all her exams and everything. She ends up getting the coveted position of palace nurse. So she's working in the palace and with nobles and acting as a nurse. She's a pulse taker. It was really interesting reading about it, because they had people who did the pulses, they had acupuncturists, and they had herbal nurses. So I thought that was really interesting, that these were the three different types of nurses that were there. And so she works in the palace, and she ends up getting sort of sucked into some of the intrigue there, because of with the crown prince and his wife. And so she kind of ends up getting sucked into it. And then what happens is, on this one night, there is a murder, and 4 women are murdered in the nurse training center that she grew up in. And 3 of them are nurses from the training center, and one of them is a court lady who shouldn't have even been out of the palace because she's not allowed to. And Hyun goes there and finds out that it's these 2 students and an older nurse who were murdered, this court lady, and then the accused is her mentor, who saved her life when she was younger. And she does not believe that her mentor did it. So she ends up deciding that she's going to try and see if she can figure out something to prove that her mentor is innocent, before she ends up getting interrogated to the point of torture. And in the course of that, she ends up running across this young police inspector. His name is Yojin, and he is trying to prove something himself. He's very young, but he was like a prodigy sort of thing. He's 18 as well. And he's trying to prove himself, but he's also has personal reasons for trying to solve this murder. And the two of them end up sort of joining forces and looking into it together. And there's a lot of intrigue involved because right now everything is pointing back to saying that the Crown Prince is the one who did it. But that could destroy everything, could upset the balance of power, could destroy the dynasty, all of that. So but they want to know the truth and they want to help save her mentor. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of court intrigue, palace intrigue going on. There's spies, there's the police, there's the class structure is a huge deal in this time period, and the characters are very compelling. I really like Hyun's character so far, and I've really liked Ojin's character as well. So I'm really interested to see where it goes. I'm about halfway through and it's starting to get pretty intense. So, but I don't want to tell you anything more because I don't want to give anything away. But so far it's really intense and I'm really enjoying it, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it tomorrow and let you guys know what I think of the whole thing. And then she does have some more books that were written about different periods in the Joseon dynasty as well, that if I like this one, I'm definitely going to look into them because I'm really enjoying the historical period. Okay, I have a couple of very squirmy little children here who want their kitten milk. So Laura is mixing up the milk.
Squirmy. Oh my goodness.
Laura's mixing it up. And these two little grubs really want their milk. Oh, kick. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, babies.
Okay, we'll just wait. We've got the grubs. Okay. Grubbly 1 and grubbly 2.
Hi, Ollie.
There. Okay, I think the kittens are probably done. What do you think, Boo? Should we see if they're done their milk? Are there any kittens in here that are done their milk? What? The milk is empty. Where's the kittens? Oh, there they are. Come on, little waddlers. Off she goes. I just finished this one tonight and really excited to say that this was another 5-star for me for this year, which is not really a common thing for me with young adult books. So really enjoyed this one. Ended up giving it 5 stars, like I said. This is The Red Palace by June Hur. And I just loved the story. It was a really interesting time period for me because I've never read a historical novel set in Korea in the Joseon dynasty or anything like that before. The dynasty took place from the 1300s through to like 1910. So there's a wide range of historical period, to go into there. But this one took place in the 1700s and just really well written, very colorful descriptions of things. She really put you into the atmosphere there and the dangers of the palace and political intrigue, those sorts of things. She really put you into it. But the real strong point with this one for me was the characters. I really enjoyed Hyun's character, and I really liked Ojin as well and their interactions. I liked the depth of the characters and their backstory and how that affected who they were. Really was very well done. And the mystery itself was good and kept me guessing. I did not figure it out, which is kind of funny because I read a lot of mysteries, so I usually can figure out most of the twists, but she got me on this one. And I just, in general, just really enjoyed it. And I am definitely looking forward to reading more of her books. So the last book that I was hoping to read this week, this is Saturday night or early Sunday morning now. The last book I was hoping to read this week was Anne of Avonlea by Lucy Maud Montgomery. So I'm going to start that one tomorrow. I've read about a chapter or two. I think I read 2 chapters previous to this week. So, But it's not a super long book, and it's a fairly easy read. So I'm hoping to do quite a bit of reading of that tomorrow, because I'm taking tomorrow off to just relax and recover from the stress of the last few weeks. So I will go ahead and do that, and I will let you guys know what I think of that one at the end of the week. But it's been a good week so far, so I will let you know what I think. Making some progress with Anne of Avonlea. This is by Lucy Maud Montgomery. It's the second one in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I'm on about page 46 now, so I'm not as far as I'd like to be, but I'm going to, I'm hopefully going to get a bunch of reading done tonight. So this book takes place essentially right after the first book, Anne of Green Gables, and Anne is now 16. She's just returned from teaching college and gotten a job teaching at the school in Avonlea. So this is going to cover her first year of teaching and those kinds of adventures. I really enjoy Anne's voice. She's very entertaining. So far, I'm not liking this one as much as the first one, just because in the first one it's just so much fun because Anne is young and says and does all kinds of crazy things. She's still, impetuous and says what's on her mind in this one as well, but she's a little bit older, so it's not quite the same. But so far I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to reading more. We've already gotten introduced to some very interesting characters. There's a Mr. Harrison, who is a bachelor who lives nearby and has, she's having an argument with him about a cow. And then one of the kids' parents, it's the Donnell family, but she has to come after school and have a severe talk with Anne because she pronounced it Donnell when it's supposed to be Donnell. So she's quite the character. I finished my last book. I finished it late last night, so I decided to wait until this morning when it was lighter out to record. So I finished Anne of Avonlea, and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoy the Anne of Green Gables books because they're my definition of cozy. They definitely, being written in the early 1900s, they do have some problematic elements that don't age as well, but overall the general story and the characters are very delightful, and it's kind of a slice of life following Anne. And I think what really makes the story is her voice. I really, the first book, which is Anne of Green Gables, is actually my favorite because Anne is young and she's so funny. Like I belly laughed out loud during that one. And this one here, she is 16, so 16 and 17, so it's not quite the same, but she still has her same personality and everything. It's just a little bit more grown up. But I really enjoy Lucy Maud Montgomery's writing, and I want to read the rest of the Anne books, and I wouldn't mind checking out her other books as well, because she's just a fun writer, and it's, like I say, the best words to describe the Anne books would be cozy and delightful. And so that's one of the things that I enjoy. So that's the second one that I've read. I hadn't read them when I was a kid, even though they were, they're Canadian classics. I hadn't read them when I was a kid, but I read Anne of Green Gables last year and now Anne of Avonlea this year. So looking forward to reading more of them and finishing out the series and checking out some more of Lucy Maud Montgomery's writing. So that completes my week-long vlog. It did take me 8 days to finish instead of the 7 that I was going for, but I finished 2 books. I finished that I'd already started. I finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I finished the Spectrum Women book. And then I read 3 complete novels. I read So I read Anne of Green Gables. I read The Red Palace, which I have sitting right here. And this one I gave 5 stars to. I just loved this one. And I gave 4 stars to, and I read the Ambrose Parry one. What was that one called? I don't have it here because my sister's reading it now. I'll put it on the screen. And I gave that one 4.5 stars. I gave that one 4.5 stars. And then Emily Wilde, I gave 5 stars, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'll put them all up on the screen. And the Spectrum Women one, I gave 5 stars as well. So I had a really good week reading. And now I'm getting ready to start on my next vlog, which is another library challenge. And then I'm also doing another Read It or Unhaul It. And I'm coming up with a fun new TBR game to start in September. So look forward to that. As long as I can get my game board and everything done before the beginning of September, I will be starting that one in September, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you have enjoyed this, give me a like and a subscribe, and I will have some more videos up on the screen, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!